You ever get that feeling that you're always the backup plan? The second choice? It's this quiet little hum that can follow you everywhere, from friendships to your job. But what if I told you that feeling isn't just bad luck? What if it's actually a survival skill your brain learned a long, long time ago? Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, this quote from a user on Lemonade it hits home, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that raw, frustrating feeling that so many of us know. It's that sinking pit in your stomach when you realize, once again, you're just not the priority.
So what's going on here? Is it just a string of bad luck? Is it us? Or could there be something deeper at play? Something almost hardwired into us? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into the science behind why our brains get so good at feeling unchosen.
All right, first things first. We need to understand that this feeling, it's often not just a feeling. It's a highly sophisticated, learned behavior. Think of it as a kind of social radar that's turned up way too high. And, well, psychologists actually have a name for this.
You know when you reread a text message 100 times trying to figure out what that period at the end really meant? It can feel like you're just overthinking, but it's not a flaw. It's your brain doing exactly what it was trained to do, search for patterns. And if your childhood was unpredictable, your brain learned really early that your survival depended on finding those hidden meanings.
All of that intense pattern seeking leads to something called rejection sensitivity. It's basically like you're walking around with your rejection radar on full blast, 24/7. You're just constantly scanning for any sign that you might be pushed away. And this isn't something you're born with. It's a skill that was shaped by your early life, where being able to see rejection coming was a crucial survival tool.
So to really get to the root of this, we have to go back, way back. We have to look at how our earliest environments literally programmed our social brains. Believe me, the echoes of childhood are a lot louder than we think. And here's something that might surprise you. The research is really clear. The absence of care or neglect can be just as harmful as the presence of abuse. It's not just about what bad things happened, it's also about what good things didn't happen. That lack of consistent care can profoundly mess with a child's ability to build healthy relationships down the road. I mean, just put yourself in a little kid's shoes for a second. If the adults around you are unpredictable, you have to become a world-class detective. You learn to read the tiniest cues, a sigh, the way a door closes, even a pause that's just a little too long. This isn't about being polite or having good social skills. It's about staying safe. It's a survival mechanism that gets burned into your brain's circuitry.
And check this out. You can actually see how different types of experiences shape the brain in different ways. Physical neglect can literally make it harder for your brain to process positive social cues later on. Physical abuse, it can make you hyper-attuned to anger. And psychological neglect, well, that creates that fixation on unspoken meanings we were just talking about.
So, we know there's a link between a tough childhood and social struggles later in life, right? But the connection, it's not as direct as you might think. There's a really important middle step in this whole process, a kind of missing piece of the puzzle.
And get this, one really groundbreaking study found something fascinating. They discovered that childhood abuse and neglect don't actually have a strong direct link to poor social skills later on. I mean, that's a huge surprise, right? It pointed researchers toward a much more powerful, hidden factor.
And that hidden factor, it's our basic psychological needs. According to one of the most solid theories in psychology, all humans need 3 core things to thrive. Think of them like emotional food, water, and shelter. You need relatedness, that feeling of connection. You need competence, feeling like you're good at stuff. And you need autonomy, feeling like you're in the driver's seat of your own life.
So here's the 3-step path that science has uncovered. Step 1. Childhood maltreatment happens. But step 2, and this is the absolute key, is that it disrupts a child's ability to get those basic needs met. It starves them of relatedness, competence, and autonomy. And then that leads to step 3, impaired social skills. It's the unmet needs that are the real bridge between the past and the present.
And just how big of a deal is this bridge? It's massive. That same study found that the disruption of these basic needs accounts for nearly 80% of the negative effect on social skills. Think about that for a second. The core problem isn't just the trauma itself, it's the fundamental needs that went unmet because of it.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. What happens when that little kid who had to be a mood-predicting expert grows up? Well, they become an adult with a brain that acts like a full-time social sentinel, always on guard duty, constantly scanning for any potential threat of rejection.
And this shows the difference so perfectly. A typical brain might think, they're probably just busy. But the social sentinel brain, which is an expert in pattern recognition, thinks, wait, their reply time changed. This is the shift. It's happening. I'm being replaced. See, it's not just paranoia. It's a survival pattern that learned to recognize danger a long, long time ago.
So this adapted brain isn't broken, it just has a very specific set of biases. It's like it has a superpower for spotting anger and other threat cues. But the kryptonite for this superpower is that it has real trouble recognizing or even trusting positive emotions. Every social situation gets filtered through this lens of potential rejection, because in the past, that was the safest way to look at the world.
Okay, this can all feel a little heavy, I know, but here's the truly hopeful part. If our brains are so incredibly powerful that they can adapt and learn all these complex skills just to survive, well, doesn't that mean they're also powerful enough to adapt once more, but this time to thrive?
And the science suggests the answer is a huge yes. But the key isn't to just go out and practice social skills. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. Nope, the real work is going back and restoring the foundation that got cracked. Finally giving yourself those basic psychological needs for relatedness, competence, and autonomy.
And the way forward is about consciously meeting those needs for yourself right now. Journaling helps you process things and feel more in control. That's autonomy. Focusing on a hobby you love, that builds your confidence and sense of competence. And seeking out supportive communities, finding your people, that directly feeds that deep need for relatedness. You're rebuilding your foundation, one piece at a time.
So in the end, feeling unchosen isn't a life sentence. In a weird way, it's actually proof of how incredible and adaptable your brain is. And that exact same adaptability is your greatest strength now. So the question isn't, am I broken? The real question is, my brain already learned how to survive my past. What can I teach it now so we can finally thrive in the present?